I'm Linda Sandu. We're here with All Access Cape Cod in Provincetown for the Provincetown International Film Festival.
The film festival's going great. It is, you never know what to wish for, sun or clouds, but actually this is perfect movie weather, so it's great to, either way you win. It's like this way you get to see a lot of movies and you don't feel like you're missing the beach time. So we take chances. There are a lot of some risks in films that are going to, challenge people. I think our beloved month of August is a Portuguese film. It's playing a lot of really, really great festivals, and but it's a challenging film that is sort of a documentary narrative hybrid. It's a lot of music. A very sort of loose narrative. There's, Guy Madden's our honoree, and he made a film called The Saddest Music in the World. And again, a little experimental, but there's a great story. It's about a competition to find the saddest music in the world, and Isabella Rossellini's in that. But his style is very interesting. It's an homage to a lot of silent films. So there's a lot of sort of there's a handmade texture to the film where it's a lot of jump cuts and scratches, intentional scratches, and things like that. So. All of his films are provocative, and really, I think we're hoping with honoring him this year, a lot of people discover him that maybe didn't see his work before.
Pretty thrilled. It's funny, just before getting the email invitation to come, I had just vowed not to travel for the summer. I was going to stay home and really make the summer last. And then I got word that I was being honored, and it just took me a nanosecond to decide to come, and it really helped that it's like a really marvelous place to be. It's not like I'm going to Siberia in the middle of the summer or anything like that. This place is great.
Have you been here before?
Like so many daydreamy little kids, I always just assumed I'd make something someday, a book or a movie or a TV show, but most of that never amounts to anything. And so I think I was well on the track to never doing anything until one day I just met someone in Winnipeg that had made a movie, and it never even occurred to me that you could actually make them there. And I think I'd wanted to be an author, but I was a good enough reader to know I'd never be a great author. But having watched a few primitively assembled movies like Buñuel and Dali's Chien Andalou or L'Âge d'Or, I realized that you could be a primitive in other art forms. I don't like primitive writing so much, but primitive painting, primitive music, primitive film really excited me. And once I discovered that you could do that, I realized, I want to do that. And it just instantly became my new obsession. And I've always been a person with one obsession at a time. But it used to be like baseball or monsters when I was a kid or something. But now, and for a long time now, it's been filmmaking. No, my style of filmmaking is pretty, I make movies in the same spirit that a kid in kindergarten art hour finger paints or cuts and pastes things. I like to take those little moments of inspiration and ride them for as long as they'll go, like while they're still inspiration. And so in other words, not for very long. So you have to work quickly and sloppily and joyously. And as soon as the fun goes out of it, I really want to move on to something else. So I work very quickly, and I'll get a million shots in a day when other perfectionists would get 10 or 6 shots, or even just industry standards of 25 shots or 40 shots aren't enough for me. I need to get 200 shots a day and things like that. So I like to work quickly.
It's a love story. It's called Peter and Vandy. And it's all told completely out of order. And kind of by doing so, you actually get to know them better, hopefully, than if you saw it all unfold in a chronological way. So it's the kind of thing like you keep seeing they're going back and forth. They love each other, hate each other, so you're thinking, oh God, they just were so happy together, and it's familiar. They're all very familiar scenes. And then you get to the end, it's their first date, and you start to realize, like, oh, you know what? Maybe they weren't that different when they were falling. They're kind of, like we're always kind of telling each other exactly what we want.
I mean, I think that if you were to watch this movie in order, you would have all of these fun, sweet, sort of flirty scenes at the beginning, and then when you got into the meat of the relationship, and there were some good days, some bad days, they were bored, or they were screaming at each other or being horrible. It's like that whole part of the movie, you would feel like, why are these people together? Whereas it's interesting to see them at their worst and then see them on their first date. And you think, a second ago I was hoping that they would break up because they're terrible to each other and they're venomous and it's a poisoned relationship, and then the next minute you think, oh, they're not so bad, maybe they can make it work. And so it's interesting. It's not a movie that sort of spoon feeds you what you're supposed to feel about the characters. We've all been in a restaurant or something like that and seen a couple, or in a park and seen a couple and made a judgment about them, whether they should or shouldn't be together. And that could be the same couple just on a different day. And so I like that. I mean, at the end of the movie, we talk to people and they're like, oh, what a terrible relationship. And then we've talked to other people who said, this movie made me fall in love with my husband again and things like that. And so it's just been interesting. I like how messy it is.
It was another great year here at the Provincetown Film Festival. Be sure and check out the films when they come to your local theaters.